In Superflat, everything is completely flat and barren. So how was I able to build this base in survival mode? Where did all these resources even come from? Today, I'm gonna answer all your questions and give you a behind the scenes look into how you thrive on a Superflat world. When I first started playing in this world, I covered everything with water right away to disable all of the monsters from spawning, because that can get annoying pretty fast on Superflat. The next thing to do was build an iron farm so I could stop killing iron golems by hand. Most iron golem farms these days are gonna require some wood and redstone. Back in the day, you would get your sapling from the blacksmith chest, but nowadays you can also check the plains house chests, or most villages just spawn with a tree. Later on, you can get other sapling types from the wandering trader. He's a Superflat player's best friend. He's the source of a lot of items. Villagers are another main source of items on Superflat. Redstone comes from this robed villager, the cleric. He's the best.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
But if you want to trade with a bunch of clerics, you'll need some brewing stands, so it's off to the nether. You can use the obsidian and blacksmith chests as well as the lava sources outside to construct a portal. After you've bought some diamond armor and tools from villagers, you can even hunt for netherite. Diamonds in Superflat are one of the biggest flexes of all. They can only be found in loot chests. They're really only used in record players, enchantment tables, fancy fireworks, and diamond blocks. The best place to find them in Superflat worlds is in end cities.
Wait. How did you get to the end in Superflat?
Well, in 1.18.2, more structures spawn in Superflat. Before, it was just villages, but now you get strongholds too. So naturally, I went and got the dragon egg and then looted dozens of end cities for diamonds. And I got plenty of elytra and plenty of shulker boxes while doing so. For mob drops I needed, I built this giant mob farm hotel, giving me an endless supply of essentials like bones and gunpowder. And over time, I built other infrastructure too. Crop farm, super smelter, gold farm, most of the stuff you need to really be in the end game. So what does the resource gathering process look like for the end game of a Superflat world? Well, let's build a cozy windmill on the side of this mountain as an example. I want to do a nice gradient for the walls, so something like stripped oak, stripped birch, birch planks, and then smooth sandstone. Remember when I said the wandering trader sells saplings? Well, I got so impatient for waiting for him to sell what I wanted that I made a whole wandering trader farm. Once I had all the saplings, I built this automatic tree farm. This thing uses TNT and bone meal to run, which is supplied from the gunpowder and bones from our hotel. But the sand component of the TNT is a little bit more tricky. You can only get a few blocks of sand at a time from the wandering trader, so I use a gravity duper at my end portal to duplicate enough for my terraforming and building ambitions. Okay, let's lay down some basic shapes. The circly part of the windmill will go here, and we'll have like the house part off to the side here. So I'm thinking this will be like an old grist mill. So this will be where all the wheat is like ground up, and we can have a little storeroom over here. The texture on the bottom side of the barrels makes for a great floor. So we'll make sure there's a staircase to get down. And we'll extend the walls downwards. And we can make like a little pit where the grain gets ground up. So the little grinding wheel is gonna be like here, and we're gonna use this combination of blocks to represent the grain. I bought yellow glazed terracotta from the mason villagers. Saplings planted next to flowers have a chance of generating with bee nests. So once I had bees, I built this honeycomb honey bottle farm. And you've already seen how I get my sand, but for the gravel, I usually use piglin bartering in the nether. That lets me craft concrete powder. I try not to dupe gravel or concrete powder. I craft those legit, I just dupe the sand because it's so hard to get the wandering trader to give you more than like a stack at a time. I think there might be some exploit which lets you trade with the wandering trader forever without getting locked out, so maybe I'll try that someday. And we'll finish this off with some wheat. Since this is like a storeroom, let's just toss around a few more of these hay bales. And we can make like a grinding wheel at the bottom. Trapdoors are pretty good for stuff like this. So let's bring these walls up and maybe put some windows in. I went with trapdoor style windows. I want to jam in as much detail as I can around the base of the structure. For the roofs, I want to go for a pretty complex palette of blocks. Red sand also comes from the Wandering Trader, and then I also dupe that. We'll throw in some acacia and moss up here. Moss is yet another Wandering Trader trade, and once I had it, I put together a factory. It produces all the different things that moss drops when you bone meal it. I trade for the terracotta from the Mason Villager as well, and we'll mix in some red sandstone for variation. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. And now let's build like a second level. Let's go up even higher with the walls. As we do so, we're transitioning into the lighter colors of our palette, and I do think I actually want to add one glass window to this building. I decided to get even more spicy with the block palette. At the bottom, I incorporated jungle planks and granite, which you craft using cobble and quartz. Towards the top, I worked in yellow terracotta and pumpkins. The Wandering Trader will sell you pumpkin seeds, but back before he existed, I got them by waiting until Halloween and using looting 3 on pumpkin head mobs. Finally got a pumpkin, and there it is. I wanted to go for that really old-fashioned, fancy kind of look, so I used anvils, chains, and fences on the roof line. And then I did my best to connect this L shape of the house with the other roof line and decided to add a gable halfway through. In this part of the roof, I even incorporated copper. I built a smaller mob farm in my main base with a simple mob sorter. I convert the zombies into drowned and then kill them with looting 3. Eventually, I'll make a better copper farm. I've been adding leaves in here and there to make it feel more overgrown and old. I added in a back door, and then I decided that a chimney would be a good way to solve this part of the roof I didn't know how to connect. Plus, it makes it feel more cozy. Speaking of cozy, I added some more details to this side, including this nice hanging sign that says Old Grist Mill. I extended our tower up just a little bit more to accommodate the shaft for the windmill. And finally, it was time to start the windmill. I built the design up in creative mode so it would be easy to copy, and I made sure to include a lodestone at the center just to flex. I decided to add sort of a wizard spire to one of the sides, just because it looked a little bit plain. And then I spent a little time figuring out how exactly the two roofs would go together, but I think in the end it came out pretty cool. I used the sandstone walls to give it like more of a cone look, and once again we did the fancy tops as well, with the fences and chains. So at this point the outside of this thing is pretty much done. I'm really happy with the way this is coming out. But I just want to focus on the yard a little bit. This part's a little bit skinny, and I kind of want to add like a little garden area over here. And after that, we'll finish up the interior. Okay, so I want to build a well right here next to the house, so let's start building that up. I'm gonna do trapdoors here, and we're gonna do trapdoors going up as well. And we'll just go up the back here. There we go. And let's just come over the top here like this. Boop, and a grindstone. All right, looking good. I also want to add like something coming off the building, like a pulley system to pull up water from the well. So we'll come off the side of the building here. And levers are actually surprisingly good for decorating stuff like this. We'll use that grindstone again, and then just come down with some chains. I feel like right about here is pretty good. And we'll throw some water in there for the effect. Ah, that's not how that works. There we go. What have I done? And now I'm gonna carve out a path to the back door and make sort of a garden area back here. By the way, if you're wondering where these mountains came from, most of them are hollow and were terraformed by hand. But this part of the mountain we're building on is a lava cast mountain made from pouring water and lava over each other from high in the sky. That's why it's filled with cobblestone, which I'm having to clear out. This here is a pretty cool trick. You can make like a large pot by putting terracotta in an item frame. Things like bushes and twisted vines can go on top of it. Okay, so after a bit of work, I think I've made this back garden really cozy. There's candles and flowers and all sorts of stuff. Just for fun, I want to make this well actually go really deep, so let's dig way down. All right, and we'll put a chest just because it lets you see past the cracks in the side of it. And then we'll put water down here. And now we gotta find our way out of here somehow. Ah, that wasn't so bad. All right, let's see how it came out. Oh, that's so cool. It looks really spooky down there. Let's do a quick shelf right here. Let's extend this bad boy all the way up to the top. I had the idea to like put this like switch system for the mill. So we'll have like a grindstone connected to some sort of gearbox that comes maybe around the corner, something like that. Maybe we'll actually put a lever here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then we'll actually carry this chain up to the top. So it was getting a bit late and I decided to do the rest of the interior sort of off camera, but I'm actually glad I did in the end because it got pretty claustrophobic in here and it also took me a long time to come up with all the ideas. So once again, we have our storeroom with our little gearbox thing. I replaced this with a smoker just because it looks cool. You can see we have like a waste bin and the door out to the back garden. And just some random storage stuff over here. Then we can go up the stairs. We've got our nice windows. And around the corner here, we've got a little chair, some storage, and this door sort of leads to like some inner workings of the mill system. These are looms. Because remember, no one's actually living here, it's mostly just a work building, you know? We've got some like safety scaffolding for working around the chain pulley system here. And there's a ladder to get up to the tippy top. Up here, I just added like a simple scaffolding floor. In our wizard spire, there's like a little bit more storage. But mostly this would be an area to like tweak the machinery. Like this is one of the big cogs of the machine that spins the whole thing. So you'd want to be up here like oiling the machine and stuff. But that's the entire building done and I'm so happy with how it came out. And I love the cozy feeling that this farm off to the side adds to it. Overall, the point of building this was just to show you guys like how I go about gathering resources and stuff for my Superflat world. Almost all of it is just the villager trading and the wandering traders. But here and there, there's some like surprise ways to get things. You just have to like use your knowledge of the game. It's a really fun challenge. Guys, I want to give a huge shout out to all my new patrons. Iori Kitahara, Medwin, FHE2, Blue Flash, Ox, Danny V1, Jammy MC, Me Penguini, 7ZFK, Random Trooper, Autobot 5309, Legend, Carwin123, Kasezi, Skeletron, 99 Disconnected, Carlisle, Shockhub, Balloonicorn, Kale, Stove Stoverson, Kurt, and Thomas. Thank you all so much. I can't believe this. It's like overwhelming. I'm really excited now to build a better home for all you guys. So it's a lot of inspiration to start working on the Pirate Cove. If any of you want anything different on your sign, just message me on Patreon. I'm happy to change it for you. And for all the gold tier and up members, the world download for this episode will be available on Patreon shortly after it's uploaded. Sadly, that is all I have time for in today's episode. Bit of a shorter one, but I think the Windmill came out absolutely amazing, so I'm pretty happy. I've heard all your awesome ideas for the lore in the world, and I can't wait to incorporate a bunch of it. But for now, it's back to breaking bedrock. See you guys next time.